Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you all hear me?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Let's just give it 2-3 minutes for the others to join, and then we'll begin, yeah? All right. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, let's begin. So I'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Abdurrahman Firoz, and I'm a College of Economics. I'm from Sri Lanka, and I'm a College of Economics student in my third year. I took financial accounting in my first semester. Inshallah, we just have we have 6 students here. So let's go through, have a quick introduction from each person, just your name and where you're from, and which semester you're in, and then we'll begin. Yeah, but I just like to get to know you guys a bit. If you guys could share your turn on your cameras, that would be great. I would appreciate that because I would be able to see faces. But if you feel uncomfortable, that's also fine. Shall we do that? Inshallah, let's start with Brother Konata Muhammad Lami. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so on me, sorry.
Yeah, your name, where you're from, and which semester you're in. That's it.
My name is Muhammad Lamin Konate.
And you're from?
I'm from the Gambia. Do you know the Gambia?
Yeah, I know Gambia.
In Africa.
And which semester you're in your first semester?
I'm in my first semester course here. I'm studying economics.
Okay, nice, mashallah. All right, Sister Najwa, is it?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Najwa. I'm from Thailand, south of Thailand, Patani. Yes. I'm taking Islamic finance.
And you're in your which semester? First semester?
No, this is second semester.
Okay, nice, mashallah. Sister Noor Afisa.
Hi, assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. My name is Noor Afisa. I'm currently at first semester of economics department. Nice to meet you.
All right. And the next one, Naja. Or the Sayama. You guys, one of you two can continue.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Shaimata Zahada. I'm from Indonesia and I'm taking Islamic finance. I'm on my first semester.
All right. Okay. Sister Naja, she seems like she's not she's not able to speak right now. So we'll continue. Anyway, so to begin with, first of all, this is a tutorial, right? So this is not like your normal lecture, of course. I'm a fellow student of yours, and so I would like there to be more interactions between us. So if you have any questions you want to ask, if you want to stop me at any point, please stop me and ask, and don't feel shy or anything like that, because that is the whole purpose and point of the tutorial. So the way the tutorial would work is, inshallah, we would have. Am I speaking too fast for you guys? Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
All right. Okay. So the way this would work is, inshallah, we would have one tutorial class each week on Saturday at this time at 8:30. Today we were 10 minutes late. I'm sorry for that. Inshallah, in the future we'll have it at 8:30. It will be between around 1.5 hours, in that time frame, inshallah. Or it could vary depending on what is required, and we will cover parts of the syllabus each class. And we will practice questions on it, and in that way you can clear out any questions that you may have, any doubts that you may have. You can clear it out. I will answer it, of course. I should be able to answer all of your questions, but I mean, please bear in mind that I'm a student as well, so if I might make a mistake, but it's unlikely, inshallah, it should not happen. But just keep that in mind as well, and anything that you want to double check with your own lecturer, now that I'm just here to be an extra source of help to you guys, inshallah. All right. Okay. So if I'm not wrong, you guys all had your midterm exam yesterday, was it on the 19th? I was going through your course outline. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so you covered topics 1 to 6, if I'm not wrong, based on the course outline. The thing is, I would like to, because for your final exam, the madam mentioned that the entire syllabus will be part of the final exam, right? The final exam that you will have in February.
Or maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Final exam in February.
Yeah, but I mean, the syllabus would be the entire semester syllabus, correct?
I think so.
From
Yeah.
chapter 1 until the end.
Oh yeah, that's typically how it works. So inshallah, in today's class we'll start from the beginning, and we'll work up towards like that, inshallah. So let me share my screen, and then we'll begin today's class, inshallah. All right.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
Can we get the recordings of this session after this?
Yeah, inshallah, this is being recorded, and
Okay.
inshallah, I will upload it afterwards, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Oh, sir, we can. Okay, we can
You
see
can
it
see
now.
my. All right. Okay, this is
Yes,
the
we
course
can.
outline, right? This is the course outline. So I mean, I'm sure you guys might have gone through it. So I mean, according to this, we have 13 topics, of which in your classes you must be at this level, this point now, which is topic 7, inventories, right? But for today's class, inshallah, see, topic 1 and 2, these are just theoretical stuff, that you just have to read the slides and things. So I won't really cover much about it. Today's class will be mainly focused on the double entry rule. And we will talk about a few fundamental concepts that is important in the double entry rule. But aside from that, topic 1 and 2 is mostly theoretical stuff. You guys just have to read the notes and the slides, and it will not be difficult. The double entry rule is what we'll be doing today, inshallah. So for you guys, how is the double entry rule something that you find difficult, confusing? What do you guys think about it? Is it easy? Or do you guys have issues with the double entry rule?
I'm having difficulties about adjustment and PPE. Sorry for
PPE.
Yes, yes.
Yes, me also.
And
The
then the double.
adjustment.
Okay, so inshallah we will cover those in the subsequent class. But for today, we'll just do a few examples on the double entry rule. We'll have a small explanation of before that, and then in the coming classes, inshallah, we will build up with those. All right. Okay. Okay. So to begin with. Okay. To begin with, you guys know this accounting equation, right? Assets equals liabilities plus equity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the most basic equation in accounting. Assets in any company, in any financial statement, the assets of the company will equal the liabilities plus equity. And of course, what are assets? Assets are resources owned and controlled by the business, which bring inflow of economic benefits to the company. And I'm just giving you a brief introduction, and then inshallah we'll begin the questions and we'll go through that. All right. And so there are two types of assets that any company can own. One is non-current assets, and non-current assets are any asset that they will last for more than 12 months. So the examples of those are land, building, and PPE, which is plant, property, and equipment. And then we have current assets. Those who assets that would be you would possess within a period of 12 months typically, which is account receivables, cash, supplies, inventory, and things of those likes. And then we move on to liabilities. Liabilities are any obligation of the company, any financial obligation of the company, anything that the company owes. So even in terms of liabilities, there are two types. There's non-current liabilities, and then there are current liabilities. Examples of non-current liabilities are long-term loans, mortgages, debentures, and examples of current liabilities are account payables, bank overdraft, short-term loans. Now, are there any terms here that I've used with regards to the examples or with regards to liabilities that you guys are unclear about? Or do you understand everything that I've mentioned so far? If there's anything unclear, please mention it. I'll explain.
So far, okay.
It's all clear. All right. Okay, so we're clear on what assets and liabilities are exactly. And then we have equity. Equity represents the shareholders' stake in the company. So the amount of the company that is owned by the owners of the company, that is represented by the equity. And the examples, equity in the financial statement, the equity is represented in two parts. Then typically a few parts. The examples are share capital and retained earnings. Can anybody tell me what retained earnings are? Do you know what retained earnings are? In a financial statement, if you see the word retained earnings, what does it mean?
Maybe the income of the company.
That's a partial answer, not the complete answer.
That is the surplus from the entire year.
Yeah, no. So now when at the end, now at the end of each year, let's say a company earns 100,000 ringgit for the year, right? So from that 100,000 ringgit, the company may decide to give back 30,000 to the owners as dividends. So any money, so if you own a company, if the owners of the company at the end of each year, they would expect to get some kind of income, right? So this income that they receive from their company is defined as dividends. So let's say the company they have decided that from the 100,000 they will divide 30,000 and return it back to the owners based on their ownership shares. The remaining 70,000 are the retained earnings. These retained earnings will then be put back into the business to carry on the business, whether it is to cover costs, etc., or that the retained earnings. So that is the retained earnings and the share capital are both showed under represented under the equity side of the accounts in the financial statements. All right. Do you understand what retained earnings are now?
Yes, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So another very important part, and this is very, very, very basic, but it's extremely important that you know exactly how this works with regards to what does debit mean and what does credit mean in terms of the assets, liabilities, equity, etc. If you get confused here, then it'll really be problematic for you in every stage of financial accounting, right? So with regards to debit and credit, okay, this is a basic question once again, but which side does the debit come onto? The left side or the right side? So we have, generally speaking, we have the debit and the credit, right? So which is on the left and which is on the right in the financial statements?
Debit is on the
Debit on the left.
Okay. No, debit is on the left. Debit is always on the left. And
yes,
credit is
and
always on the right. So when it comes to assets, right? When it comes to assets, for an increase in assets, we debit that amount, right? And for decrease in assets, we credit it. For example, if a company purchases something for 20,000 ringgit, that means they have paid cash of 20,000. You will credit cash because it has decreased, right? And then you will debit the relevant other account on the other side. Inshallah, we'll come to that, right? So for assets, there's an increase. Increase in assets is debited, and a decrease in assets is credited. For liabilities, which is the opposite, an increase in liabilities is credited. For example, if your account payable has increased, you have bought something, you have bought a product, but you have not paid, you have taken it on account, right? you credit that amount to your account payable, and you debit and if your liabilities decrease, you debit it. Now moving on to equity. To equity, there are two parts. There's revenue, which is the income, the total income, and then there are expenses. So for revenue, if it increases, you credit it, and if it decreases, you debit it. And for expenses, it's the opposite. If it increases, you debit it, and if it decreases, you credit it. Revenue, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Revenue is basically all the income that a company gets. The expenses are okay. Can anybody tell me what's the difference between expenses and liabilities? Why doesn't expenses just come under liabilities? Does anybody know why? Because if you think about it, expenses is a type of liability, right? You're paying the money. So why doesn't expenses come under liabilities? Does anybody know that? Know why?
I think expenses we pay on cash, liability we pay on account.
No. Liabilities can also be paid by cash, but can be reduced. For example, if you have an account payable of 10,000 in the liabilities, you can pay it off as cash and then debit the account payable.
Maybe the
So,
time.
but the main difference is expenses is mainly the day-to-day running of the business. Yes, the day-to-day running of like the rent, insurance, tax, salary. These are expenses that the company runs on a day-to-day a quick running basis. So all of those are termed under expenses, and then they are recorded under as part of equity. So basically, the profit of the business is revenue minus expenses. You see, you don't take every liability that you have and to find out your profit. For example, if you have a long-term loan, you don't factor that into calculating your profit, which is revenue minus expenses, right? So expenses are in the daily running of the business. The rent, insurance, tax, salary, all those things. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, I mean, this is just a quick explanation, but once we start doing the questions, there are 3 to 4 questions, if I'm not wrong. It'll be much more clearer, inshallah. So okay, so these are the steps in this. See, if you guys want, I will share this Excel sheet, but if you guys want to take quick notes or whatever regarding these steps, that would also be good, inshallah, right? So there are 4 steps in the accounting process, basically. So the first one is journalize the transactions. When you journalize the transactions, is you basically you list out the account that is to be debited and the account that to be credited, and you add the amount T accounts look like this. So you have a table like this, like a T. You have the title of the T account, and then you debit and you credit it. Inshallah, I'll show how this works. And then thirdly, you prepare the trial balance, and lastly, you prepare the financial statement. Financial statement is something that is really at the end, and we will not be doing that today. We'll basically be focusing on the first 3 steps of the double entry process, inshallah. All right. Okay. So is everything clear with regards to what I've explained so far before we move on to the questions, the practice questions? Are there any questions?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, then let's move on, inshallah. So see, the question that we'll be doing, inshallah, I want you guys to do it. As in, we'll do it together. I'll ask you guys questions, and then we'll do it in that form. All right. Okay. Okay, so these are the questions. Can you see the? I shared the questions to the Google Classroom. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but again, this is the question. And we have 5 questions here. I don't think we have time to do all 5, but possibly we could do around 3, and the rest, maybe the other 2 you guys can do it. And if you find anything difficult, you can ask me, and I will answer your queries, inshallah. Okay, so let's begin with question number 1. All right. So the question number 1 is: a Distinct Colors company provides painting building services to customers at a fee. the business provides you with the following transactions or business activities for its first month of operations in January 2019. And then they have given there are 5 different transactions. There are 6 different transactions actually. On January 1st, 9th, 15th, there are 2 transactions, and then 23rd and 30th, right? So for each of these transactions, there will be a journal entry. Okay, so let's take it turn by turn, inshallah, and you guys answer, and we'll do it like that, right? So for the first transaction, which is the company receives 42,000 from the issue from its shares. Can one of you answer? Najwa, could you answer this question? What should be debited? What is the account that should be debited? What is the account that should be credited?
Debit cash, credit share capital.
Debit cash.
Credit share
Okay.
capital.
All right. It is 42,000, right? 42,000, and then debit, credit, share capital. All right. Okay, that's the first journal entry. Okay. Then we have the one on the 9th. Brother Konata, can you answer that?
Okay, so you mean the second one?
Supply? Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah, the
debit
second one.
accounts payable and credit cash.
No, how is that? What? No, that. Wait, just once again.
Oh,
Just going back to the first one, which is Najwa. How do you know that it was paid by cash? Like, what is the hint that you? Because it's not said here received cash, right? So how did you know that it was received
because
by cash?
it was received in RM.
Yeah. So basically, if they use the word received, right, that means
Okay.
the money has been received by cash. If they use the word on account,
Yeah.
if they use received on credit, or paid on credit, if they use that term, it means it's account receivable or payable, depending on whether you're purchasing or selling. And if they will use the word received, or they just say purchase this amount of money, purchase this amount of product for this amount of money without mentioning on credit or on account, that means it's cash, right? So that's how you know. Okay, so brother Kanata, for the second one, which is the January purchase, painting supplies was 16,000 on account.
Okay.
What is
Painting,
what is the debited one?
painting supplies.
Yeah, painting
Supplies.
supplies. Yeah, painting supplies. Okay, so this is your debited.
And then accounts payable. Account payable.
Accounts payable is credited. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. All right. Okay, and then for the next one, we have provided service for customers and received cash of 24,500. Sister Noor Rafisa, could you answer this one? The provided service for customers and received cash 24,500. What would be debited and what would be credited?
Debit cash.
Yeah.
Credit service revenue.
Service revenue. All right, that's correct. Yes, service revenue. So yeah, I mean, if you service revenue, if you see this one revenue, when a revenue increases, you credit it, right? So here, cash has increased, so you debited cash, and your service revenue has increased, so you credit service revenue of 24,000. That was correct. Okay. Then we move on to the next one, which is used 8,000 ringgit worth of painting supplies to complete the service to customer. This is a bit tricky. So who can answer this one? What gets debited and what gets credited? Sister Sayama, could you answer this one?
Wait. Is it credit cash and
No, there's no cash being used here at all.
so used 8,000 is it not cash?
Yeah, it's not used in cash.
Oh, Mm, I don't
Anybody else?
know.
Anybody else?
So should we credit painting supplies?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Because see, in the second one, on January 9th, we received 16,000
Yes.
based of supplies, right? So from that was debited because we received it. Now they have used 8,000 worth of that. They have used 8,000 worth
To complete
of the
service.
painting supplies to complete it. So then we credit painting supplies 8,000. So what gets debited?
Let me see. Service.
What gets debited is supplies expense.
Yes, supplies.
So here, yeah, supplies
Oh.
expense. So this is so to provide this service to the customer, it required 8,000 and 8,000 ringgit expense. So supplies expense is debited. The expense is always debited. Remember, if an increase in expense is debited and a decrease in expense is credited. So here, supplies expense 8,000, and then the painting supplies, the asset which decreased, so that was credited by 8,000. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, we have paid 10,000 on accounts payable. Who didn't answer? Dania? We have new people listed. I didn't notice actually. 1 second. Okay. Okay, Sister Ainur. Yeah. Do you want to answer? For the this one, the pay 10,000 on accounts payable. What are the journal entries for it?
Credit account payable and debit cash.
No, that's no, that's wrong.
Debit cash, credit account
See,
payable. No,
debit,
sorry. Debit
the
account
opposite.
payable, credit cash.
Correct. See, cash is an asset. So if you debit cash, means cash is increasing. Over here, cash is reducing, right? So debit account payable, because we're, yeah, and credit cash. That will be 10,000. 10,000. All right. Okay. And lastly, we have the business paid cash of 12,700 for the other operating expenses. What do we debit and what do we credit? Who would like to answer? I mean, you guys can volunteer. I don't have to ask each person to answer. You guys just let's make it an interactive session. So you answer quickly,
Yes,
and we can move on quicker. Yeah.
I can try, sir. I can try, sir.
Okay, try
We
it, please.
debit other operating expenses and credit cash.
Yes, correct. So other operating expenses is debited and cash is credited. All right. Okay, that is great. So these are the journal entries. So we have basically completed what is required here. Record the transaction in journal. We have completed this this amount, right? Yeah. So these are the journal entries for these transactions that were carried out by the company in the month of January. Now we move on to T accounts. T accounts is a bit more. It's not more complicated really, but it's a little more. I think it looks a bit more complicated because of the way it's structured, but it's not really. It's quite easy. Anyway, so let's begin. So for T accounts, you have a T account for each different type of journal entry. You have a different T account. So let's start with cash, right? So for cash, how many entries do we have? We have one entry. We have 1, 2. We have 3 and 4, 5. We have 4 entries of cash, right? So let's begin here. So this is the debit side, okay? So if this is the debit side, wait 1 second. Okay, all right. Okay, let's begin. So who would like to volunteer to fill up the cash T account for the cash T account? Anyone? Sister Saima? Could you try? What? Yeah. Okay. So share capital. This is debited, right?
Yes.
Okay. Share capital. How much? 42,000.
2,000.
All right. And then
And then service revenue.
yeah, correct. Service revenue 24,500. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Then this
And
side.
then on the credit side is account payable. 10,000.
10,000.
And other operating expense.
Okay. 12,700. Correct.
Yes.
So what is the total here? The total here is 27,100. No, 27,000. And the total here is 66,500. Correct. So the balancing amount, which would be, so if this is, so you basically no, you have to, sorry, where's the, my bad. Yeah, the both sides should be equal, right? So if you have 66, this should also be 66,500. The balancing amount, which it will be the one that is carried forward. Balancing, you can just say balancing carried forward. All right. So this would be how much? 66,000 minus 27,000. That would be 49,500. So on February 1st, on February balance carried forward for February 1st would be 49,500. So this would, I mean, you have to remember this
Oh,
value
sir,
will go into
sorry.
the trial balance. Yes.
But
Yeah.
sorry, the balance should have
Yeah.
been 43,800. The balance carried forward.
Oh, sorry, wait, this would be my mistake. This would be 22,700. Yeah, what is the subtraction? 22,000. You say how much would it be? 42,000?
43,800.
89.
43,800.
Okay, yeah, okay, my bad. That was my calculation error. But do you guys understand how I got this, right? Like, do you understand how you understood how this works?
Yes, we understand.
Yes.
All right, okay. And then we have share capital. So share capital, this is pretty straightforward. Okay, so we have cash. We only have one entry, right? Let me just do this. Okay, we have cash, and then we have, no, it's not, it's credited, right? Okay, yeah. We have cash. We have 42,400, 42,000, and then we have the balance carried forward over here. That would be 42,000, because basically it's a total, right? So the total should be equal. All right. You guys got, you understand how this worked, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Okay, so now the accounts can be a bit, exhausting. But anyway, let's just do it, because it's part of the practice, right? Okay, let's take supplies. So who can answer the supplies? This Ainur, do you want to answer? Or Sister Saida? Hello, you guys can volunteer. I see, this is, like I mentioned at the beginning, this is a tutorial, this is not a lecture. So you guys need to interact a little more, so it makes it more interesting also, and you would, I think, learn, would stick in your mind better. Who would like to volunteer for supplies?
Can I see the, okay.
Okay, and you want to see the question? All right, here.
Yes.
This is, the journal.
Is it painting supplies?
Yeah, painting supplies, yes. We can make it clear. You have this. Is it clear? So there are two entries, right? For
Yes.
supplies. Okay. So let's start with the debit side. The debit side, okay. What should be debited and what should be credited in the T account?
Credit account payable and then oh no. Credit
No,
payable and then
no, the account payable should be when you write the account payable here, it should, because here account payable is credited, but supplies is debited, right? So account payable should be written on. So over here, what the T account is looking at only what happened to supplies, not what happened to account payable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, get
So
confused.
yeah. So the account payable should be how much is it? 16,000, right? 16,000. And the other one is supplies expense. So here it got credited. So that would be 8,000. Supplies expense. Okay. All right. Here the total would be 16,000.
Sorry,
And here
brother,
the
can
total-
you repeat about the account payable and supplies expense? Wait.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Now look at these. Look at there are two entries that have the supplies, right? This is one entry, and this is one entry.
Oh, okay.
Correct?
Okay. Yes.
All right. So in this entry, the supplies is getting debited or credited?
It's debited.
Debited, right? Or here supplies is getting debited, correct?
Oh, okay.
16,000. So if the supplies is getting debited, you add 16,000 here. And then what is the corresponding entry? Account payable. So you put that. This is just for you to understand.
Okay.
Even
okay.
sometimes when you go to next other levels of accounting, sometimes even in the T account, they barely even mention this. This is just there so somebody is able to follow it up. But even if you just put the values, like just for matter of calculation, the most important thing is the value. So you know how much is brought forward, how much is are you understand? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then here now here the debit side is greater than the credit side. So the balancing that there will be a balance here. Balance. Balance. Okay. Balance carried forward. This will also be 8,000. And then over here, we have B, C, F, 8,000. Okay. All right. Okay, so that is done. Now we have supply expenses. All right. So who can do the supply expenses?
The supply expenses
Yeah.
here is 80,000 is debit.
8,000 debited for supply. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right. So supplies 8,000. And that's it, right? Then we have 8,000 here, 8,000 here. We put a balance, carry it forward. 8,000. Okay. I will just do this quickly. I think that would be less boring for you guys, right? Okay. So service revenue, we have service revenue was credited with regards to cash, right? So
Yes.
we have how much was it? 24,500, right?
24,500.
Okay, 24,500. We have cash. And yeah, so here we have so here we have 24,500 total. See, once you guys do this a lot, it becomes very automatic. It becomes very easy to be really. So, but at the beginning, it's good to write down each amount. So so it becomes, so it's easier for you guys. Okay, balance carried forward. You guys understand what this balance carried forward means, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay, all right. And then we have, let's go other operating expenses is just one, right? It was just debited cash, 12,700.
Cash debited. Yeah. 12,700.
Okay, cash. All right, so total, let's put the totals here. Okay. All right. So account payable is a bit more detailed. So let's say one of you, let's answer. So who
Is
can?
cash debited 10,000. I guess.
Yeah. Which one?
Cash
So there are
debited
two account.
1000.
No, let's go in order. Well, this is the first account payable. So there's one account
This is
payable that is,
supplies.
yeah.
Supplies
So here account
credited.
payable is credited, right? And the other one is debited, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so 16,000 credited, and this is supplies. Then we have 10,000. What was the name and the name of the account?
Cash.
Cash, correct? Okay. All right. Those were the only two entries, right? For account, yes, those only two entries. So, and now we have 16,000. 16,000. Here we have balance carried forward 6,000. Okay. So that is the completion of the T accounts for each type of account. So did everybody does anybody have any questions with regards to the T accounts? We have so far we have done the journal entries and we have done the T accounts. Does anybody have any questions or doubts with regards to how we did it? Please ask any questions you want. See, I'm just a student like you. There's nothing that is too foolish or anything. It's okay. Any question you have, any doubt, please ask. Are there any questions?
No, bro.
No.
All right, that is great then. Okay, so now the next we have is the how much cash does the company have at the end of January? So this is very easy. Now you should be able to answer it. But now looking at this T account, can anyone tell me how much cash we have at the end of January? Just looking at this T account.
38,500.
No, sorry. This is I'm correct. Yeah. 40, yeah, you gave me 43,800. So the balance carried forward that we had, whatever is debited minus whatever is credited is the cash remaining at the end of January. Okay. The third one is preparing a trial balance at 31st January. So once you prepare the journal, once you prepare the T accounts, T account is the one that is a bit like, for me, for example, when I was a student, I didn't like T account. It's very annoying. In fact, nowadays when I do, I rarely use T accounts because it's time consuming, but it's actually very useful. Like if you're a bit unsure of what things are, what's happening, what accounts should go where, it's a very good way of getting the full picture in your mind. And then you can prepare the trial balance, which basically summarizes the entire thing. Anyway, so let's do the trial balance here. 1 second. Okay. All right. trial balance as at 31st 19. Okay. Okay, so let's begin then. Yes, but we have, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Okay. Okay, all right. So let's begin doing the, so trial balance is, like I said, it's basically a summary of everything. So what we do is, it's to make it easy to so that it looks better. You start off with everything that has a debit carried forward. So what the accounts that have a debit carried forward are cash, supplies, expenses, and other operating expenses. So we start with cash. Okay. The balance carried forward is 43,800. 43,800. And then we have supplies and supplies expenses. Okay. Supplies expenses, both are 8,000. 8,000. And then we have other operating expenses. Other operating expenses, 12,700. Then what are the credit accounts? We have share capital, service revenue, and account payable. Share capital, service revenue, account payable. What is the share capital? 42,000. See, service revenue equals 24,500, and account payable is 6,000. So do these two tally? Can anyone calculate? Can someone calculate both totals? Like, what is the total here? These three: 16,000, 28,700, be 72,500, I think. Yeah, 72,500. And this would be the same, right?
Yes, brother.
Yes, sir. They tell.
Okay. So that means we have done everything correctly. So if the debit and credit sides need to always match, right? So if these two do not tally and do not match each other, there is some problem in your calculation. You have debited something wrong. Something goes wrong. It's actually a very satisfactory feeling, when you work on a whole big question, and you debited, you have been debiting and crediting for like half an hour, and then you finally get the right answer. It feels so good. At the same time, if the value is a bit different, it's very frustrating because you have to find out exactly where the mistake is. So it's an interesting, it's rewarding in one aspect, and also one aspect it's a bit can be a bit annoying as well. All right, so this is everybody, alhamdulillah, are you now the three aspects of the double entry rule, which is the journal entry, then the copying the T account, and then the trial balance. You guys are all clear on that? Is there any question, any doubt that you may have with regards to this question, or anything else really? Any doubt that you may have that you want to clarify?
No, sir.
It's good. All
No,
good.
sir.
Okay. All right.
Brother,
Yes.
I think this is quite basic, so it's not too much tough. But when when the question is about percentage or like something, something difficult on that time, I mean, I don't know. Like
Mhm.
in our meet, there's some question which is like some percentage and other stuff. On the time the journal is being so tough.
Journal
This
entries
journal,
is.
yeah. On the time journals is so tough.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes I also get confused to translate
Yeah, this is.
the transaction.
Yeah, this is quite basic. For example, this number 2 is very basic, you know. I mean, it's very easy to do. I mean, so is this one, to be honest. Okay. The thing is, with regards to the tutorial, at least, I see we have been given certain questions here and there that we follow a certain pattern. So we answer the questions and we go one by one. Actually, we have started at least my tutorial class is started a bit late. It would have been good if we started a bit earlier. But I think the most important one is the final exam. So the idea would be to have each week we would cover topic by topic. We would cover normal practice questions, and then by the final exam time, we could final exam time we could even have an extra tutorial class where we go over past paper or something like that. But today's class would be a bit basic, I think, because you are already 1 month into the semester and this is the first tutorial class, so it would be a bit basic. But I think it would not harm to reinforce these basics because these basics are there everywhere, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Mhm. I'm wondering whether we should do another of these questions or not, because if it is, can you could you send me your midterm paper on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Let's maybe look at the question that you're referring to, because these questions,
sir.
yeah, these questions are all very similar to the first question that we did.
But the in the midterm that is adjustment.
Yeah, so
Right.
for today's class, I won't be going into adjustment much. If it's just really so I want to cover topic by topic, like I showed you the course outline at the beginning. So today's topic
Okay.
is covering the double entry rule, which is the journal entry, trial balance, and so on and so forth, right? And then we move on to adjustment. The adjustment is more difficult. I know that there was something I also did not like, to be honest, much with regards to accruals and prepayments. It's a bit difficult, but we won't be covering that today, inshallah. So the question that you're referring to in the midterm, is that solely based on on double entry bookkeeping, or is it inclusive of adjustments and accruals and all that?
In the
Hello?
midterm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Is it in the midterm?
Brother,
Mhm.
The midterm journal entry, statement of profit and loss.
can I just send one tutorial, like which one is our teacher, do in our class? So can I
Okay, sure.
just send it in the WhatsApp?
Okay, sure, Sam.
So in the first group assignment, we have to do this one, the journal entry.
Mhm.
And then in the midterm, yesterday, we get the adjustment journal entries. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, and the PPE
Yeah.
financial statement.
Mhm, mhm.
And for me, I get confused to translate the transaction, like
To translate the what?
the transaction to write it in the journal, like is it service revenue and so on, like that.
But this is more to do with adjustment, right? Like the adjustment and the next chapter. All right, so we will cover that in a subsequent tutorial. Because I need to we'll cover that in a subsequent tutorial, inshallah. But for today, we will just stick to double entry. It is a bit basic, but once again, it is important. So somebody is sending something in the WhatsApp group, correct? Just give me a moment. I will get that. Sister, you said you were sending something. in the
Yes, brother. I'm
can you send that?
yeah, I already sent it.
Okay, just 1 minute. Let me. This is the one that you sent, right? Accruals and prepayment. Can you see the screen?
Yes, bro.
Mhm. So this is something that you guys have issues with, is it? The adjustment and all that. All right, so inshallah, in our following class, inshallah, we'll cover this because the thing is, I need to, I can do it, but there are a few things that I also need to brush up on a bit very quickly because I did take it a year back, and then inshallah next class we can go through the questions that were sent, and we can clear out any doubts that we have. For now, we have just around 20 minutes left anyway. Let's just we'll do one of these journal entry questions, and then we'll end the tutorial, right, for today, inshallah. And the next class we will move on to the next topic and clear any doubts or questions that we have regarding that. So one thing that we can do is with regards to each tutorial is that beforehand, maybe if you guys have related questions, I would have my own questions that I would receive. But if you have additional questions regarding the topic that you find particularly difficult that you could not answer, you can bring that to the class and share it. And I can try my best to answer during the class, inshallah. All right, would that work? That would work with you guys?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
brother.
Okay. So what do you guys suggest? Do you want to do one question for the double entry rule and end the class, or do you want to end the class now? What do you guys think is better? Shall we do one shall we generalize
Do-
question? We do one?
Do
All
one.
right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do one. Let's do the fifth one, but usually the fifth one is the hardest, right? So let's try doing that way. Okay. One second, let me do it here. All right. You can see both sides of the screen, right? Is
Yeah.
it
Yes.
fine? Okay. All right. So this would be, so we'll just do the journal entry. Swift company. All right. The journal entry. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have multiple. So let's go. So Swift company entered this following transaction in the month of January 2017. All right. So number one is January 1st. January 1st. Okay. We have what details should we put? What is debited? What is credited here for the first entry? Anyone?
Debit cash, credit
Cash, credit,
capital,
Okay, debit cash and
capital,
credit
credit.
share capital, correct? Okay, so debit 30,000, 30,000. And then we have January 4th. We have purchased equipment on account, 6,000 ringgit, right? So here, what is debited, what is credited?
Debit,
Equipment
Debit,
debited
credit
and
account.
cash credited.
One second,
account payable.
Sayama, can you answer?
Oh, is it equipment, credit equipment, and account
Okay.
payable credit? Wait, debit equipment and account
Yes.
payable credit.
Yeah, okay. Account payable. Okay, 6,000. 6,000. All right. And then here we have 7th Jan. Paid staff salaries of 4,000. Is once again, what is debited, what is credited? What about brother Abdul Bari Sharif? Are you there? Wait,
So
salary. Oh, he's
staff
typing.
salaries, okay,
All right. So salary expenses debited
and cash is credited.
and cash is credited. Okay. That would be 4,000. 4,000. All right. And then we have 9th Jan. Borrowed 5,000 from the bank. What is debited? What is credited?
Bank loan.
Debit cash, credit bank.
Oh yeah.
You see the name is okay. We can just put bank loan. All right. 5,000. 5,000. 5,000. And then we have 14th January. Paid equipment supplier on January transfer 4,000. Provided okay. So there are two transactions here. For the first transaction, what is debited, what is credited? Ainur Zinira, are you there? Do you want to answer? The first transaction of paid equipment supplier on January 4 transaction, 4,000 ringgit. Anybody else wants to answer? What is debited here? What is credited?
Debit. Account payable. Equipment supply.
Okay, debit account payable and credit.
Equipment supply. Equipment supply.
Equipment.
No,
Equipment.
no, that's wrong.
That's
Equipment
wrong.
is an asset. Yeah, so here we are paying money. So basically,
Cash.
yes, cash, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we had taken on account payable for January 4th, we reduced it. We have credited, we have debited. Now we have paid off 4,000 ringgit. So we debit account payable and we paid it with cash, right? So for the 4,000 there. Okay. And then okay, then there's another one. So provided professional services to clients of RM 10,000, of which 3,000 was received in cash and the rest was on account. How should this be done? So here there would be, yeah, how should this be done?
Service revenue.
Okay. No. Wait.
No.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah, but that would be credited, not debited. I'm talking, what should be debited?
Cash debited.
Okay, cash. How much cash should be debited?
3,000.
3,000.
Okay, and then
Receivable.
okay,
7,000.
7,000, and then service revenue 10,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then we have on January 18th. Oh wait, this is January 18th. Yeah, this is January 18th. Okay, my mistake. 18th January. All right. And then we have 20th January, paid utility bill of 500. What should be debited? What should be credited?
Credit cash, debit utility expense.
Yes. Expenses, cash. And then we have 27 January. Received
Brother, can
five.
you please repeat 18 January again?
Okay. 18 January, so this is the entry, right? Provided professional services to clients of RM 10,000, of which 3,000 was received in cash with the balance on account. So what this means is we have given services worth 10,000, and from that 10,000 for the payment, 3,000 they paid immediately on cash with cash. 7,000 it is account receivable. They have paid on credit, so they will pay us later onwards. So the revenue from that transaction is 10,000, correct? Because that is the so revenue is credited. So 10,000 is credited. However, the debit has to be divided into two parts because we have not received 10,000 in cash fully. So we have received 3,000 in cash, 7,000 on credit. So for that, cash is debited 3,000 and account receivable is debited 7,000. That will be paid later. And so, the sum of this is 10,000 and the credit is 10,000. So it balances off. You understand? Yeah, you get it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So that's how that was broken down. All right. So then 27 January, we have received 5,000 RM from clients for amounts owed and previously billed to them. So what should be debited here? What should be credited here? What should be debited? Yeah.
Cash.
Debit cash.
Debit cash and
Credit account payable.
No, account receivable, not account payable, because this is the amount owed to you. So amount owed to you is always account receivable. Basically, see, if you see the word received, in any or borrowed, it means you are receiving cash. That means immediately you debit cash, and then you have to credit whatever entry that is required. Over here it's account receivable. So 5,000 and 5,000 credited. Okay, and then here we have 31 January purchased.
Vehicle expense.
Motor vehicles debit and the cash is credit.
Motor.
We can put vehicle
Expense.
cash 7,000. Okay, all right.
Sir?
Brother, yeah, yes.
Yes, sir. I got confused on 14 January because
Mhm.
there are 3 transactions, right? Not 18 January.
No, I think this is a problem with the alignment over here. Because see, they have in the question, if I'm not wrong, 14 January is only this, 18 January is this. You see, initially I think it's not. There's some problem with the alignment in the question.
Okay.
Yeah, so something like this. Yeah. I mean, the date is That's a minor detail. More important one really is to understand how the debit and credit is divided. So this question is clear for everybody. You guys understood? Brother Abdul Bari, you mentioned this debit account payable. This was for which? Was it for the 27 January one?
Sir,
You mentioned this debit account payable.
that's for the earlier question.
Oh, okay. All right. No problem. Okay. So this is clear. So, okay. So with regards to double entry, if you know how to get the journal entries correct, and you know what should be debited, what should be credited, it becomes very simple, really. After that, adding it into the T account, really, it's very tedious. Financial accounting, it can be quite tedious. It's not so difficult, but it's just very tedious and very repetitive. So once you get the hang of things, once you practice enough, it becomes very easy, inshallah, and you guys should be able to pass without any problems. But of course, this is very simple. We haven't really touched on the more difficult aspects of financial accounting. But once we reach there, inshallah, we'll go through it and we will clear out any doubts that you may have, inshallah. All right. So before we end the class, are there any questions that you guys have?
Sir, can you explain again 27 January? What we receive for a credit account receivable?
27 January. Yeah. Okay. Here. So if you read the journal here, not the journal, I mean the question, it says received 5,000 ringgit from clients for amounts owed and previously billed to them, right? So they have not told us this amount could have been owed to us from before January. We don't know when this happened. Maybe it happened in 2016, or we don't know, right? So when this customer bought our product for 5,000 ringgit, at that time, our account receivable was debited because he bought it on credit, correct? When he experienced our services before, our account receivable was debited because he bought our services on credit. Now he has paid us the amount that he owed us. So once he paid us that 5,000 ringgit amount, our cash is debited because we received the cash, and the previously debited account receivable, now that has been reduced. So that was credited, and so it cancels out. Did you understand that?
Okay, I got it, because the client used our services, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, they have not clarified when they used the services or anything. They just told us that this amount was previously billed. I mean, that is not important. We don't need to know when it was, when that amount was billed to them. We just need to know that it was previously owed to us, previously billed to them, and based on that, we can enter the journal entry. So, yeah, is that clear?
Yeah, clear. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions that you guys have with this regards to this question?
No, sir.
All right. I mean, if you guys would like, I don't mind doing one because I mean, you guys seem to have a little more questions with, because this is a bit, the first one was very easy. So this is a bit more difficult. So we had more questions, I guess, for this one. If you would like, I could do this quickly as well. Yeah.
Brother, can you please explain what is
Yes.
retained earning?
Okay. So retained earnings are, so now let's say in a financial statement. So at the end of you would have in your profit and loss statement, really, you would have your revenue, and then you would have the cost of goods, and your expenses. So then you would get profit, right? So once you get your profit, and once you get your profit for the year, okay, a certain amount of the profit that you earn would be given to the owners. This is called dividends. So let's say, so let's say a company makes a profit of 100,000 ringgit in a year, right? So a portion of that, maybe 30,000 of it, would be divided amongst the owners. The remaining 70,000 is revenue. The remaining 70,000 is retained earnings. So this is the earnings of the business that remains in the business. So that's why it's called retained. So retained means, it's held by the business, and that money is, circulated within the business again with regards to expenses, or, however they want to do. Maybe they want to invest the money. So that is basically the definition of retained earnings, of how it works. So and that comes under under equity, really. Is that a
Okay.
yeah? So that is a see when we will deal with retained earnings more in the future with regards to financial statements. So it would get a lot clearer. But then a simple explanation of retained earnings would be that at the end of the year, the money that is held by the company is goes under retained earnings. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. You guys have any other questions before we? Do you want to? Do you guys think we should do one more question, or is it enough? Is it clear already?
It's okay if everyone wants to do more.
It's okay. It's clear.
All right. It's alhamdulillah, that's good, mashallah. Okay, so for next class, inshallah, we'll be covering the next topic, which is we'll be talking about adjustments, accruals, and prepayments. Of course, I mean it would have been better if we could have had this tutorial earlier. I think in the second or third week, but to be honest, yeah.
But can you send the question in the WhatsApp?
These questions.
Yeah, brother. Can you
Yes,
send the question
earlier.
and the answer is Excel?
Okay, I will upload. See, the questions I have already uploaded it here to the tutorial questions. So I have done question 1 and 2, right? So I will upload. Okay, I will upload the. I will upload. Where is that? I will upload this one where I have answered question 1, and I'll upload the Excel file as well. If you guys want to practice, you can do questions 2, 3, and the questions that I did not do, which is questions 2, 3, and 4. And if you have any issues with them, you can ask in the WhatsApp group, or you can even bring it up next class, and I can help you out, right? So I'll upload this, inshallah. Don't worry. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
You.
Okay. All right. So if there's nothing else, inshallah, we can wrap up the class. Next class, inshallah, we will be covering adjustments, accruals, and prepayments, and we will see how that is applied, inshallah. In the meantime, any questions that you may have, if you have any practice. So one sister already sent me the group exercise questions, right? So maybe we can try to do some of those to go through them and answer any doubts that you may have. If you have any other questions that you may have as well, send them and we'll try to solve. Of course, we cannot solve all of them because they will take some time, but we can solve the ones that are more difficult and the ones that will give rise to more questions from your side, inshallah. Anyway, so with regards to today's class, inshallah, jazakallah khairan for attending. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sorry, just one more thing. If you guys have any questions, please post in the WhatsApp group. Or if you want to even contact me directly, it's no problem. I will reply. Sometimes I might take a little more time to reply because I have actually a lot of credit hours and I'm doing other stuff as well. But I will try to reply as soon as possible, inshallah. Okay. All right. Okay. Subhanakallah alhamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
So much, brother.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Really good explanation.